The following is paid for by Advanced Physical Medicine of Miami.
The information presented in this program is for educational purposes only. It is not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any condition, illness, or disease. The depiction of successful results from the treatments discussed in this presentation are examples of the possible benefits and do not guarantee results. The decision to start any medical treatment should be made only after discussing all benefits and risks with a healthcare provider.
Welcome to Healthy Dose with Dr. Joe. Are you ready to repair damage to your body? Replace what is depleting to regain your youthful vitality? Regenerate what is now degenerating? Dr. Joseph Gambardella is a doctor of chiropractic medicine and an anti-aging health practitioner diplomat. He was the first doctor in Miami to complete his fellowship training in stem cell therapies. As the owner of Advanced Physical Medicine and Rehab of Miami, he provides patients with the most sophisticated and safest treatments in the market today. Join Dr. Joe for the next half hour and learn about the medical advancements that have helped thousands avoid surgery and pain meds. From stem cells to hormones and everything in between. Get ready to feel empowered. Get ready to regain control and reclaim your life. Now, here's your Healthy Dose with Dr. Joe.
Welcome to Healthy Dose Radio. I'm your host, Dr. Joe Gambardella with Advanced Physical Medicine and Rehab of Miami. You can find out more about us by visiting our website, 8pmrmiami.com, and by following us on our Facebook and Instagram at 8pmrmiami. I'm here today with Tony Sentmanat. He is a sponsored athlete with First Form Supplements. He's got a background in military and law enforcement. And really happy to have you here today, Tony. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, Doc? How's everything?
Everything's great. Tony, you have a pretty amazing story that I think everyone out there needs to hear about. You are a self-made man in terms of social media. You have an Instagram that, how do people find you?
RealWorld_tactical. Let me give you a little bit of quick background on myself, guys. Started off in the Marine Corps, did 4 years Marine Corps, and then I went into law enforcement, did about 15 years law enforcement, and I was able to retire early because of a company that I started. I started Real World Tactical, LLC, back in 2014, and it was a firearms training company. I teach law enforcement, military, and Good Samaritans, people with good backgrounds. Teach them firearms training, tactical stuff, teach them combatives, ground fighting, pretty much how the self-defense aspect of what a person should know nowadays, especially with the crime the way that it is. The company did very well. I did the company part-time for 2 years, and then I decided to retire from law enforcement and pursue the company full-time. In 2016, I retired, and now we're 2019. I started social media in 2014, and apparently my fitness and tactical training was something that caught on very quickly. I was able to do a lot of things that I guess other people weren't able to do. I pushed it very, very hard, and to date, in 5 years, I have 1.1 million followers, and I'm blessed to be able to do what I love to do, and retired.
It's amazing, and I think anyone who's looked on YouTube under tactical training, under strength training, they've come across one of your videos.
I would hope so. Pretty much on all the social media platforms. I'm on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I've tried to create a nice little all-around push for marketing for the company.
And like I was telling you before the show, you're what every little boy wants to grow up to be. When you're like Superman.
I don't know about all that, but I'm an old man with a lot of pains now.
So that's pretty much what we want to talk about today is how do you get to be an athlete at your level and still be able to compete and train with consistency and avoid the injuries that keep so many people out of the activities they love to do, even if it's the weekend warrior?
I would tell you constant recovery and constant therapy are the two of the biggest things that have kept me going over the last 20 plus years doing this stuff.
And it's almost, as time goes on, it's almost become more of a full-time job, right? The time away from social media, the time away from training, it's all recovery.
Yes, it is. Back in the day, in the early 2000s, nobody really did any kind of foam rolling or therapy or anything like that. You pretty much stretched for a couple minutes and then went about your business for the gym. So when you would get hurt, you would pretty much just stretch a little bit, give it time to heal, but keep training, building up scar tissue, building all kinds of stuff. And then, you end up hurting yourself again. And it's just a process of 3 or 4 years with a partial tear on your tendon or your ligament or something like that. Now you do the proper therapy, do the stuff. There's so much more knowledge and education now compared to what it was in the early 2000s.
And as we get into the recovery, we're going to talk today a little bit about a product, an HGH, human growth hormone, the recovery hormone. It's the hormone that's called the anti-aging hormone. And that's the hormone in the body that rapidly decreases after age 20. In fact, by 20 to 30, you've lost almost all usable growth hormone in the body that you'll have for the rest of your life. And that's why you don't see athletes, elite level athletes other than yourself, like NFL players, baseball players, having long careers beyond the mid-30s.
Yeah. The 34, 35?
34, 35. And it's not because they still can't play at that high level. They can do it. They could perform once a week, but the training that's necessary to perform at that level, they can't do it. Their bodies don't recover as quickly.
Yeah, and I've seen that in the last 4 or 5 years as well, where my body doesn't recover that fast, Yep. Where back in the day when you're in your 20s, you do a hardcore session within a day or two, you're back to 100%. Now it takes me sometimes 3 or 4 days to recover.
And the risk of injury is higher. Obviously, trying to push yourself through. There are a couple of key hormones we'll talk about today, one being testosterone, another one being growth hormone. They work hand in hand together. They are the anti-aging hormones. And if you think about aging, is aging caused by a hormone decline, or does hormone decline cause aging? Either way, it's like the chicken or the egg. You still have to treat it. Yeah. And what we always tell our patients is that after blood work is done, when you figure out the way to balance out these hormones naturally, this is something that you have to maintain for the rest of your life. You can't cure this. You can't fix it with exercise. You can't fix it with the right diet. Your hormones are always going to be in a declining state or a depleted state. So you really have to stay on top of this like you do any other sound nutrition program.
Absolutely. I'll tell you like this, if it wasn't for the therapy and everything that me and you have been working on for the last year and a half, I'd be broken, literally.
Yeah, and I
would be broken by now.
Tony, it's been so great working with you because we see, you're so well conditioned. You're easy to work with. You are the most compliant patient because you're there all the time. And for people that don't know, we are a full physical medicine office. We combine medical services like stem cell therapy and regenerative cell therapy, peptide therapy to enhance depleted levels of growth hormone. We have physical therapy, chiropractic, shockwave therapy, and laser therapy. And I think you've probably dabbled and touched on some of that throughout the course of the couple of years we've known each other in our office together.
I think I've done every single type of therapy you have. Yeah. At one point or another in the last year or so.
And what we talk about with all of our patients and even you is that we want you to keep doing the things that you love to do. You got into this tactical training and this military background and have such an enormous following. It's almost like you can't even let your followers down now. You got to keep performing at this level. And the key to longevity in terms of being able to consistently do what you want to do is to balance out these hormones. And we'll talk a little bit more in depth about growth hormone.
Awesome.
Growth hormone is the recovery hormone for those of you that don't know. And this is the hormone that supports your connective tissue. Tony, connective tissue is the tissue that strengthens your discs in your lower back. It rebuilds the meniscus in your knees. It's all of the cushioning of all the weight-bearing joints in your body. And
it doesn't get as much circulation as all your other muscles.
And that's the key thing.
That's the problem.
Yeah, that's why the rest of your body heals and those joints simply don't.
And they don't.
And the key is, you don't even want to have to get to regenerative medicine or stem cell therapy. You want to be able to keep the joints healthy that you already have and prevent the injuries from happening.
Which is, I think, is honestly one of the biggest issues is either your knees, your lower back, your shoulders. I think that every athlete with any kind of time under their belt has had some form of issue with either their shoulders or knees or their lower back.
Absolutely. And if you think about some of the other things that growth hormone does, it helps your nerve tissues regenerate. It strengthens your immune system. It helps you get that deep sleep so you can recover. It's the transformation hormone.
That's a big thing lately that I've been able to sleep compared to probably my years as a law enforcement officer, where I was waking up 3-4 times a night and I didn't sleep good at all. And now because of HGH and all of that, it's just been helping me so much on the recovery factor for just sleeping alone. It's incredible when you get to sleep 6-7 hours straight without waking up. It's crazy. So
we got to talk a little bit about physiology and science here in terms of how growth hormone becomes depleted over time. Growth hormone is called somatotropin. And somatotropin decreases significantly as we age beyond 20 years of age. There's also a hormone in the body called somatostatin. And somatostatin is something called growth hormone inhibiting hormone. This actually stops our body from producing adequate amounts of growth hormone to aid in recovery. And that level keeps increasing and increasing and increasing as we age. So it's inversely proportional. The more somatostatin that you make, the less growth hormone that your body is able to produce naturally. So you have to do something to supplement it. And there's a couple of key things or key ways that we found that work incredibly well to get the body to produce more essential growth hormone that it needs to aid in recovery and muscle building and transforming the body. And those are by the use of peptides. We have peptides in our office called CJC, Simorelin, Ipamorelin. And what those peptides do are they're able to stimulate your body to make more growth hormone by itself. And there's another way that we can do it by using microdosed HGH in the form of a gel, a topical gel.
Which that recently came out within the last year, but I think about a year and a half.
And that's called Somaderm.
Yes,
and
Somaderm.
It's a pretty amazing product because we get all the benefits of HGH, including the body transformation, body fat dropping down into single digits,
the sleeping,
the deep sleep, the recovery, and this is very, very easy to apply. This is something that's, as we mentioned, applied topically. You can rub it on different parts of the body. And what are some of the first things that you noticed when you started increasing your HGH?
Definitely the sleep. The sleep is huge. That's one of the biggest things that I noticed for myself. Since I train as hard as I do, I'm constantly sore here and there, but I do notice in regards to not being so bad 3-4 days later, where I'm still hurting 3 or 4 days later. I might still be a little sore. I think so. The recovery factor is definitely there. It's hard for me to say just because of the training that I do.
Yep.
It's just, it's a constant battle with me, so definitely with that factor, you do feel, for me, I do feel more hydrated. I don't know what it is, but I do feel like I have, like before, sometimes I'd feel kind of tight on my hammies, my glutes, or my even my calves sometimes. And lately, I haven't been feeling that at all. So I can keep going. You get tired just like everything else, but it's not as bad.
Yeah.
Just some of the couple of key factors there for sure.
And when you start to supplement and increase the amount of growth hormone in your body, this is not something that one day to the next you're going to go from benching 135 to 315. This is something that takes time to build up in the body. So people do need to be patient with this. The first month to 2 months, everyone is going to notice deeper restful sleep. So the recovery and the repair part of the equation starts to go off the chart, as you mentioned.
Yeah,
very
right off the back,
yeah. Fewer injuries, more time in the gym. In fact, you're getting ready to do a powerlifting competition. Is it sometime later this year?
Yeah, I think December.
And you've been hitting some personal bests?
Yes. I've hit a couple of, recently was bench, definitely bench. I hit 500 at pound for pound, 500 pounds at 240. When I hit it, I was at 245. So that's a personal best in the gym. Last time I hit 500 was 10 years ago, and I was 265.
So 20 pounds lighter.
20 pounds lighter and 10 years later.
10 years later, you had, and I don't want to short you on this, I think you had a 700 deadlift?
700 deadlift, 705 deadlift back in February. And then I ended up hurting my piriformis. Remember, I had that issue with my hip. And I'm still in probably the high 600s, just haven't maxed out in a little while. So I don't know where I'm at there. And the squat, I'm always in the 600 squats. So usually I try to keep it there.
I think the most impressive thing is obviously your strength. There's very few people who can do that, but even less who can have the same agility that you have at that strength. I mean, I see you jumping over cars while you're in the middle of your workworkouts. You're flipping tires, jumping on boxes. I really doubt there's a lot of people out there in this world who can lift as much weight and do the agility that you do.
Well, that's the key. I mean, that was always the key for me. You want to be an anomaly. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to be the jack of all trades. I wanted to be the best of both worlds. They said that it couldn't be done. So I kind of wanted to prove these people wrong, that as long as you have a goal in life, you can accomplish it, So I was able to do all the CrossFit type of training, the stamina, the agility, the endurance and all that, and then still wanted to put up powerlifting numbers, be as strong as a powerlifter. I would say those are probably the two opposite spectrum of fitness that you can find, in regards to one being just stamina and endurance, and then the other one being complete strength, compound movements. MMA, obviously combat conditioning or mixed martial arts type conditioning is just a whole bunch of circuits and then sport specific. But they're more geared towards that endurance, stamina, and then technique wise, I try to do them both since I do so much mixed martial arts. Try to keep the spectrum, where I'm right there in the middle.
It's an amazing combination. Some of the YouTube videos, you're jumping over. It looks like you're jumping over cars. You're flipping 100-pound tires. For people who haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Real World Tactical on Instagram.
A lot of special effects.
Yeah.
Computer graphics.
If CrossFitting and MMA and all of that physical stuff is your scene as well, check out those videos of Tony Sentmanat. But before you do that, this is where you might want to go after the workout. apmrmiami.com. We'll have more coming up from Rob, Tony, and Dr. Joe after this.
Repair your body. Replace your key hormone levels. Allow your body to regenerate itself without surgery or meds. When it comes to your health, the best plan is preventative. If you wait for symptoms to show, you could be too late. With over 40 years combined clinical experience, all under one conveniently located state-of-the-art facility, Dr. Joe is on the leading edge of regenerative and physical medicine. Take control of your health and get a free consultation and evaluation. Visit us at apmrmiami.com or call 305-598-8788. 305-598-8788.
So, Tony, one of the things that we have to let the audience know too is that the sports that you're in right now, and even for the weekend warrior, the longer you do it, the more help that you need in terms of back end support, right? So, whether it's mixed martial arts, tactical training, you have to have very, very strong mind. It's a cerebral sport. Powerlifting is the same thing, but people don't really know about the back end support in terms of the recovery and repair that's necessary to keep you doing the things that you like to do. How did you first get into recovery in terms of whether it was chiropractic, physical therapy? Was there an injury that you had that really?
I can't remember. I want to say it was my lower back was what I started having issues with when I first came into the office.
And what would you say to people that kind of just ignore the injuries and push through them and think they're going to be able to train?
That's definitely the wrong way of thinking. I learned late in my years, honestly. I should have learned earlier. I'll probably have a lot less pains now. That recovery and therapy is like, it's so important. It's so important. And it really has proven over the last 3 or 4 years, all the things that I've been able to do at my age, and I'm still functioning good with no actual, and when I say, because everybody gets hurt. You get hurt in training. It's inevitable when you train hard, but no real actual injuries in regards to where I've had to have surgery or I've had to have any kind of full tears, where I'm going to be out for 6-7 months. It's just the therapy for me has been key on just keeping me the maintenance of keep going. You get hurt here and there, you fix it and keep going.
And really what we want to summarize today is there's 2 parts of therapy. There's the active part, and then there's the part that you have to take care of at home. So the preventive. When you go for therapy, we've done things we've mentioned on the show before, prolozone therapy, getting oxygen into joints that don't have enough to support healthy reproductive function in terms of stem cells, to get stem cells moving into your joints to repair, stimulate the body to repair tissue. We've talked about shockwave therapy, breaking up scar tissue so you can get elasticity and flexibility back. Ozone therapy, chiropractic, you always have to have that base alignment. People think that chiropractic is only for neck pain and lower back pain, but we've used it on your shoulders, knees, hips, lower back, and you're only as strong as your foundation. If the foundation is off when you're talking about weights of 300, 400, 500, let alone 700 pounds, that's what makes all the difference at an elite level like you are.
Well, yeah, at the end of the day, you have to have a solid foundation. I've said this in other podcasts before. If your foundation is made out of wood, it's going to break. You have to have a solid foundation, concrete, 100%. You know what I mean? It's got to be solid. So you can't build building blocks, on paper. You can't.
And the second part of this is the supplementation and the nutrition. So this is things that you have to do at home. No one's going to be able to do this for you. HGH, peptide therapy, the Somaderm, the product that we're talking about today. These are things that you have to be consistent with. You can't do these one day a week, not do it for the next week and expect to get any type of long lasting results from this.
Absolutely. You have to be, but it has to become a lifestyle. When you're training, you're an athlete, you have to learn that, okay, being an athlete or training is only a portion of what you're doing. You have to have the therapy portion of it. You have to have the nutrition portion of it, making sure that you're taking care of your body. So everything has a percentage. And if you're not consistent, or you're pulling out one of these pieces of, or one of these elements of what you need as a total, then you're going to create deficiencies in whatever part it is. And nutrition, everybody knows that nutrition, without proper nutrition, your performance is going to be garbage. You know what I'm saying? So same thing with if you started at HGH and you want this to work and you want it to last you a year, 2 years, give you that edge, then if you take it once every other day, or once a week or whatever, it's not going to give you the same results as if you were to take it every single day.
Yeah. So if you're looking for that increase in muscle mass, if you're looking for fat percentage to drop into single digits, if you want that deep, restful recovery sleep, if you want to improve your immune system and regenerate healthy nerves and get that stronger connective tissue, this is definitely something that people need to find out more about. Growth hormone that costs anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000 a month, that come with lots and lots of side effects that people don't want to know about or want to have any part of. We're talking about safe levels to make major changes
in your life. Period.
Yes.
Yeah, just being, it's helping you do everything that your body should be doing already.
I was pretty intrigued when you keyed me in on the Somaderm, is because I had a patient, he's a 65-year-old gentleman that was on bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. He was doing some testosterone, some HCG. He was controlling his estrogen, balancing out his vitamins. He was on a ketosis diet, so to speak, alternating with intermittent fasting. And he was making some good changes for a 60-year-old gentleman. And we hadn't seen him in a couple of months, Rob. And all of a sudden he came into the office and he had that squared off jaw. His waist, he must have dropped about 6 inches off of his waist, and nothing changed with his protocol. He was taking the same amount of bioidentical testosterone as he was before. The only thing that he added was the Somaderm.
Yeah, it enhanced everything he was already taking. It
enhanced everything, even things like the vitamin supplementation. And when we looked at his lab work, the numbers were the same that you would see for a 20-year-old that is in optimal condition.
No.
So when you came into the office and you said, "Hey, take a look at this," I mean, that's why I want to have you on the show today, is to let people know that there is something that they can do to achieve high levels of performance, and it's not going to cost them a fortune to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always, I like to be on the edge of kind of technology. I like to be on the edge of inventions, and so I'm always looking into new things. You have to be, I can't remember who it was a multi-billionaire that said, he was like, it's not always about being the best. Sometimes it's about being the first. So yes. If there's someone out there that has something new, something different, I like to try it myself. I like to see for myself firsthand if it works or it doesn't work, So that the Somaderm was brought to my attention. It's an over-the-counter product. It's not an injectable.
Tuned for part 2. We're going to have Tony back talking more about growth hormone recovery and all the amazing things that he does. In the meantime, Tony, how do people find out more about you?
So you can Google me. My name's Tony Sentmanat, or Real World Tactical. Okay, on Instagram you can find me at realworld_tactical, and YouTube and Facebook, just Real World Tactical is fine. Guys, it's been a pleasure speaking with you and being here. I'm looking forward to coming back and talking more about the therapy and these new products.
In our next episode, Tony, we're going to learn more about the different ways to repair the body naturally, on how to replace hormones, vitamins, stem cells safely and effectively, and how to allow your body to regenerate and heal itself without the use of drugs and unnecessary surgery. Remember, as I always say, repair, replace, and regenerate. I'm your healthy host, Dr. Joe Gambardella, and I'll see you next time.